here's the question. Why are you still in these kind of relationships where you don't, where you're not strong in self-love, where you give more of yourself and trying to get the love from outside of you than being there for you, being in your strong part and shining this love into the world, although it might cast more shadows on the rest of the people. My name is Christina Junge. I'm a love and leadership mentor. If you'd like to subscribe, you're much welcome to my community. Leave your comment and give me a like if you think it's worth it, and if YouTube should put these kind of information and videos into the algorithms. Self-love. You only love somebody too much if you love this person more than yourself. You are still in a relationship with a narcissistic person because you love this person more than yourself, because you expect of this person to give you this love you have never received more than being able to give this love to yourself. If you're expecting from this person to love you more than you have love for yourself, there is no love, there's no light you can show into this world, you can shine into this world, and obviously you're going a path of, let's say, least resistance, because it's easy to expect from somebody else to love you and to retribute what you have never received from the outside, from maybe your parents, or even expecting from your parents, from a narcissistic parent, a narcissistic mother or a narcissistic father or siblings, to finally love you. And it's like the path of least resistance, as I said it, because you are trying to get around the work, which is a beautiful work, of taking care of yourself, of loving yourself, of following up with your projects, of making decisions and setting priorities in your life. And it is in reality feeding into a position of a victim, which is only in your hands. Nobody can cure you from that. And this is a very important part in the narcissistic dynamics. And I hope you have an open heart to listen to what you can do with or in form of self-love and self-care to be able to take care of yourself from now on and to take responsibility, and through which means you can do this, I want to talk about in this video. The more you shine, the more shadows you cast. That's beautiful, right? So, if you're afraid to shine, if you are afraid of the shadows you might cast on other people, because they give you already like an ambivalent feeling of being maybe a little bit too shiny and maybe wanting to pull you down all the time, and there's maybe like a double quest for you, trying to shine your light on them to make them good, and they do request this from you, that you will shine this light on them, that you will save them, that you will take on responsibility, or to put it in other words, that you are guilty of how they feel in their lives. So this has almost become like an easy path for people who live narcissistic dynamics, though it is not the path out to get out of it. Decisions. If you want to cultivate self-love, a very strong part of the self-love will be self-discipline, which has a gentle part with yourself and which has a strong part, like a part where you have to be like firm with yourself, you know. There's like a big old, let's say, like a balance you have to go through if you want to go through self-love, through self-discipline, that you have to be somebody who listens inside of you, who hears what your soul, let's say, your intuition, your screaming soul, I call this, because you're so bad treated through so many years, is requiring from you or is calling you. Is like maybe not a very loud voice, but it's a voice which is there, and it's telling you to be more self-disciplined and to get in charge of your life, and to follow up with your, let's say, your goals, your priorities, with your decisions of having a good life, of wanting to be the one who's in charge of your own life, of taking time for yourself to take care of yourself, and for doing things you really love, which is not always a very, very easy path to go. This means self-discipline in order to create to create self-love in your life is a path to follow up on your goals, on your what you want to achieve, on your purpose, and on your priorities you have set to be able to achieve this goal. So if you're in a narcissistic relationship and you're saying, these people will never change, these people do all this and that to me, these people do, I don't know, they keep on hurting me and I feel so disempowered, it is probably true. It is probably true, and it is okay to recognize this dimension of it, but it is not enough. It is not so much true that you would have to stay and to stick inside of these dynamics and to make them, let's say, the scapegoat of yourself not being able to follow through with what you want to live in your life, and to not having to get out of your comfort zone and to overcome your most inner fears to be able to get to a life and a state of mind or relationships where you really are satisfied. Good things don't come to us by accident. Good things, we have to create them. Bad things come to us by accident. So bad things are in our lives all over the place. But good things, we have to create them. We have to be present. We have to be a decision maker. I think making decisions is so central and is so crucial to reaching our goals, obviously, because we have to follow up, because we have to step up, because we have to understand what we want, and to almost to develop a strategy. It's not almost, it's to develop a strategy, although it's not very technical. You have to make a commitment with yourself to listen into your heart, to listen into your soul, to listen to your intuition, to listen into this which is maybe very much unbalanced. Like sometimes you want to listen to what's outside, what people are calling you to do, what your abusers, the narcissistic people are calling you to do and accusing you of doing. And then there's again like this very tiny and very much not loud voice which is inside of yourself and which wants you to grow, which wants you to listen to it, which is your intuition, and which wants you to get out of the unhealthy relationships, which in fact just suppress your emotions, which this relationship, which suppresses your most inner feelings, and which suppresses also in some way your fears, or it doesn't suppress your fears all the way, but it makes you through the relationship of fear you're living to relive a fear here on a relationship basis, and to like this not go out of the relationship and get into contact with the fear which is very much more deep inside of you and which needs to be looked at and which needs to be resolved. So self-love and self-care is a really beautiful path for you to go and to reach what you really need to do to empower yourself, to trust yourself, to love yourself, and to self-discipline yourself, to get out of your comfort zone and to get out of your, to overcome your fears. And your fears are on a layer which is like above or under your comfort zone, depends on. And you need to demasquerate this fear, because you can relive this fear all the time inside of the relationship you're in with this narcissistic person, and like this almost like project it towards this person instead of getting in contact with it and having to deal with it, which is very uncomfortable. Okay, making decisions to wanting to heal, to wanting to listen to yourself, to wanting to understand the dynamics, and to wanting to get out of a state of victimness. If you say you have a narcissistic or more narcissistic people in your life, you know you have a task to work on. Okay, it's never going to be the task to wait for those people to convert, to repent, to ask you for forgiveness, to just be a different person at some point. This is never going to happen. The only change which makes them change maybe is that you change, that you start to set boundaries, that you start to live a life for yourself, that you start to live a life which is listening inside of you and which is following this calling, I want to call it, that you can get to a point of self-development or personal development or resolution of emotional, let's say, blockages, that you can release those emotions and get in touch with those emotions, and to break free from this bondage, from this captivity you're living in when you're living in one or most of the time more narcissistic relationships. Set priorities. To set priorities, it is really important that you treat those priorities as if they were your best friend, that you understand that what you have set your goal and your mind to, you need to follow up on this. Also to take care of yourself, to be soft with yourself and to be gentle with yourself. This doesn't have to be like a really warrior path or a path you have to fight yourself through. It's usually all the different. It is hard to set the boundaries. This is like a warrior part, because it gets you in so much inner conflict, and it gets you into a situation where you don't know where you're walking at, because the energy shifts so hard, that you don't know any longer where you're at and who you are, because yourself was defined by this narcissistic person. You constantly, let's say, rescuing this person, you constantly being there for this person, you constantly assuming the guilt this person was transporting to you, and suppressing not only your fear, but also your anger, and suppressing like the anger which is being caused by being constantly accused and constantly held guilty for what is their responsibility. So you need to get out of this controlling behavior of taking responsibility and rescuing and saving those people who are actually causing great damage on you. And this is one of the priorities you need to set. Your priority needs to be to now live a life for yourself, to no longer rescue other people but yourself, because you need to understand that the victim who is like working in the relationship and is maintaining the relationship in their dynamics is you. Okay, if you step out of the relationship, and if you step out of this victimness, and you step out of this dynamics of being the holder of the guilt, you will understand that this person needs to change. Though you can't do it to change that person, to finally get this love, to finally be recognized, to finally be approved by these people, that finally these people say, you are great, now I recognize you, how great you were, that you were holding back your feelings and your needs all the time, and you were rescuing me and being there for me. This is not the path you want to go, to get the validation out of this other person who is actually hurting you and who is feeding off of you, and the approval and the validation and the recognition, getting this from an external source. But the self-love and making decisions and making yourself a priority and your decision a priority, this is going to be the path for you to finally get out of the relationship of a person you are accusing right now to be the narcissistic person who is never going to change, and that you are on their demand and on their command. And this is just not the case, I'm really sorry to tell you. It is you who needs to make this decision and to set those priorities in favor of yourself, to be now your best friend and to focus on this decision making and on changing your own life into like focusing on being there for you and for your feelings, and no longer taking responsibility, assuming responsibility, or assuming that they will love you after you have taken care of those people in order for yourself to be then finally good, or to lift yourself up, or to step up to a different state of mind or a state of feelings. So this is really wrong. This is not just a wrong thinking, and I need you to get out of this idea. So decision making is important. I'm having my papers here. Priorities, setting priorities, and self-time. Oh my God. Self-time is something so important, where you are taking care of yourself, where you're listening to yourself, where you're working your fears, where you're working these, I would call this these boundaries, where you can't step over, these boundaries where which are limiting, where you're saying, no, I can do this, and you're stepping back into this, I need to take care of this guy, I'm all focused on, this guy or this girl or this woman or this mother or this father or those siblings or this boss or whoever narcissistic person is there in your life. The dynamics are always the same. It is always you who needs to take care of yourself, okay? And to lift yourself up in self-love and self-care, or through self-love and through self-care, which is what I'm focusing on today. Decisions making, getting out of the relationship, no longer taking care of those people, no longer assuming the guilt, no longer making decisions for them, controlling and focusing and doing the whole machinery here in your head, how you can save them, how you can rescue them, how you can do good to finally get the approval from those people. Just to stop all this and to be there for yourself, to take the self-time you need, to listen inside of you, to listen really deep down to what you need, and to start, this is also really important, to start to trust yourself. This trust is something, you don't trust your feelings when you are on demand of a narcissistic person. Unless if you have learned this already in your upbringing, which you probably have, because otherwise you wouldn't be in a narcissistic partnership or in a narcissistic work relationship. So you need to understand that at the moment you are making decisions and you're following up on them, that you're setting priorities which are only in favor of yourself, of your self-growth, of your personal growth, of listening into yourself, of being there for yourself, of setting boundaries, of making decisions finally for yourself, for in order for you to step up and to be there for you emotionally, no longer for those people. You're so used to, let's say, to balance your own emotions by listening to their emotions, by trying to fix their emotions, by being there and taking on all the negativity as if you could how do you say, the chivo expiatorio, the scapegoat, as if you could redeem this guilt by taking it on you. Well, you will not, just get over it. It's just not gonna work. Get over it. You're not going to redeem their guilt or their bad feelings or their depression or something in order for, like taking them on you in order for them to get out of their bad states of emotional well-being, of their misery in their lives, and of them accusing you of being the person guilty of those dynamics. And once you step out of those dynamics, they accuse you in addition to being the one in charge of them, because now they're so sad and now they feel like suicidal and now they need you so much and now it's all again you. So you need to find a path where you start to trust yourself, to be there for yourself. And this is a path where you need to understand that following up on your decisions, following up on your priorities, which is you know, your projects, your life, your emotions, your everything you need to do in your life, discovering your talents, setting boundaries, and no longer listening to those people, but especially no longer taking up on you the responsibility of what is their lives and what is their task to deal with their own emotions. Okay? And once you follow through with what you want to build, this again causes self-trust in yourself, and this is let's say the result, thank you, of a self-care routine, and it will result into love. Okay, through self-discipline, through self-trust, through self-comforting yourself, you will get to the place of self-love in the end. Okay? How to get more into the direction of self-love and of your priorities and of decision-making is doing something you really love, doing something which is really important for you, and then again to follow up on those things, you know, and to understand that the more you start to shine, as I said that, the more shadows you will cast. So these people are going to be the first ones, once you start to shine, once you start to lift yourself up, once you start to elevate your energy, those people will feel your shadow, and those people will accuse you of being abandoned by you, of you being selfish, of you being egoistic, of all these things you already know, because they are like some old stuff you have heard forever. And keep on going with your path. You know, you can't stop with your path only because some people feel the darker shadow once you start to shine more. All right, this is really crucial. And for you to be able to do those things which get you out of your comfort zone, which are going to be things hard to do for you, this is going to be something you need to do which is meaningful for you, you know. It can't be something somebody tells you to do. So this entire path is a path of self-discovery, is a path of believing yourself, of knowing yourself, of understanding yourself, of being there for yourself, of trusting yourself, as I said it, and of doing something meaningful in a sense that it is worth for you, the journey to go through the times of discomfort. Once you get out of your comfort zone, this is a great comfort zone with a narcissist. You might think of this like that, or you might not. But you being in those dynamics, this helps you to not having to get in contact with your real emptiness, with your real void, with your real victimness. And it is very comfortable to feel like this big hero and to save and rescue people who don't want to rescue themselves, because they need you always a little bit under them, you know, in order for them to feel powerful. So to do something really meaningful can be very powerful in the process of getting into self-love, getting into self-respect, getting into valuing yourself, and getting out into this decision-making and into this new path of the vision of yourself, where you are, let's say, independent, because you are dependent, you are codependent of this person, because you constantly take care of this person instead of taking care of yourself. And this is the codependency, that you're avoiding taking care of yourself because you haven't learned it all your life long. I don't accuse you, but you need to take care of this dynamic, that now it's your time to make yourself the priority, and to go this path of self-development, of personal development, of getting into yourself, of listening into yourself, to take care really of yourself, and to finally generate, among other things like this, self-love. Okay? Let me see if I have something else what I wanted to say. To do a lot of what you really love, keep on doing things you really love. Don't think what you're doing, taking care of a narcissistic person, be it a parent, a narcissistic mother, father, siblings, or narcissistic partner. This is not something you love to do. Although somehow you love to do this, because it feels like once you rescue them, all this horror, all this terror will stop, because you are all the time the one who's being guilty of them behaving like this, which is obviously an error, which is obviously this completely twisted idea of which the narcissistic person has planted into you, that once you are good enough for them, and once you will rescue them, once you be like they want you to be, then they will be good, and your relationship will be good, and you will be good. This is like this total super error. Just get over it, Distance yourself from these people and start doing things you really love, and nurture yourself. And do more of what you love, and do more of those things which let's say lead for you towards knowing yourself, towards being with yourself, towards listening into yourself, towards creating higher boundaries, values, standards, principles, all these things which make you understand that you are a person of value, that you are a loved person, that you are there to shine, although this shining brighter will have an effect, and you will notice it on the people who were feeding off of you. I always say, which like vampire off of you. Okay, get out of this aversion to discomfort. You need to get out of your comfort zone of the known. It's scary to walk a new path. It's scary to confront ourselves with our feelings, but it is so much worth the way. Our brain wants to be safe and happy, but at the moments of change, your brain is not going to be safe and happy. You need to get out of comfort, and you need to step up, and you need to push yourself a little bit. This is like the part of the discipline where you have to be a little bit tough with yourself, and you have to listen and like softly also at the same time into yourself. So this is a real ambivalent work which can be quite confusing while you're going this path. I hope this helped a little bit to understand those dynamics, to understand a part of how you can cultivate self-love, self-trust over self-trust, by doing more of the things you want to do, following up on the things you want to do, and seeing that you can trust on the that you will follow up on your goals, on your whatever you want to reach. Okay, this is really important, that you can start trusting yourself, because you have trusted in those people, that those people will be the ones who will give you the thumb up, who will finally give you the okay, that you are going to be all right once you like annihilate yourself. Do you say that in English? Like annihilate? Like get yourself into the zero zone. I don't know the word right now. And to be like no one anymore, but to be always on demand for them, okay? And to be like no one any longer, but the one who's catering to them all once over and over again. But for them, it has only the purpose to get them, to get you under their victim state. I've talked about this in another video. I hope this was a little bit helpful for you. hopefully gets you animated to follow up through your goal, towards your goals, towards your decisions, towards your priorities. You know, you need to be your self-priority, to cultivate self-time, to get out of your comfort zone, and to keep on doing things you love. You know, doing things you love will make it so worth for you inside of yourself to get out of the comfort zone and to push yourself towards your limits, because you will see good things coming towards you in your life, and you will be able to again trust yourself more, because you have followed up on your decisions and on your priorities, and which should be you yourself. Complex theme, but I hope you liked it. If you like to subscribe to my channel, give me a like, give me a thumb up if you want to. If you are interested in coaching, my coaching programs, you can write to Christina@christinajunge.com, and check out this next video, which is coming up, about similar themes, about narcissistic dynamics and you getting out of your state of victimness. It's nice to have you. Bye until the next one.